Episode 13 of PTSD Self-Healing Show. Hello, everyone. I'm very excited to be here again with another great episode of PTSD.
Yes.
So, yes, and Marqueta Harris is our
Yes.
guest today, and you'll see another aspect of PTSD and how she recovered from it and something that many people never talk about it.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot.
Welcome to my show, Marquita.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm
Yeah,
grateful.
thank you for being here. All right, tell me about your story. What is, I can see your topic. I just want to show to everybody, see your topic, how to overcome PTSD MST, which is military sexual trauma.
Right.
You've done a great job. I know right now you are doing so much in your field and helping a lot of people as well. So, what happened to you? What is your story?
Well, thank you so much for asking. Thank you for having me on. Pretty much, it all boils down to going after opportunities, and with those opportunities, life took over. I had an idea, I had a dream. I wanted to escape from neighborhood that I was in. It was a lot that was going on there, and I really wanted to make something of myself. And in order to do that, I had to make some choices that were going to allow me to do so. So at that time, military was the best thing for me. I had initially wanted to go into the Air Force. I had scored high enough on my testing that they wanted me. But at that time, I had a 1-year-old son, and the requirement for the Air Force at that time was that I needed to have adoption in place. That wasn't going to happen. It was going to take too long. So as I was leaving out of the recruiter's office for the Air Force, the Army was standing there with ready and waiting arms to snatch me up. And whatever issue I had, they were like, oh, we have a solution for that. We have a solution for that. We have a solution for that. So needless to say, I signed up. I had a high profile position. I was in telecommunications. I had a top security clearance. And my first duty station was overseas. So I'm 19 years old, all the way over in another country. I was stationed in Panama. Everything was great, going well. And I was looking at, even though it was different, it took a minute to kind of get used to, but I said, I can do this. I really can do this. And I want to do this for the rest of my life. But unfortunately, again, life inserted itself and had a different path. And at that time, what was not be known to me was issues that some of, as they call us, the younger privates were dealing with, especially when you're so far from home and you're in another country. It kind of comes off as easy prey. But when you are, as they considered us to be, E-nothings, because we didn't have any rank, E1s, E2s, and E3s, most of the time you find that they're very young. They're either coming out of teenagehood and going into young adulthood, don't really know a lot. So when you have somebody that is in a position of power, they teach you from basic training to really respect and to revere these positions. And so therefore, if you even thought about trying to be insubordinate, that's not something that was tolerated. And they knew that. So you have those that are in position and power use their power to their advantage. And so that's what happened. It happened not once, but twice.
All right. So, how many years you stayed there, and why you thought that you're traumatized?
Um, Great question. Thank you for asking. It's one of those where the military teaches you how to be very resilient. I think the Army, no, I know the Army and the Marines are the most physical. And there's a lot that you have to endure. And they teach you this from, again, basic training on up to your schooling. It's all about the physical agility, and it's all about having to think fast and being able to adapt to any situation that you're in. And when that's ingrained in you, all you know is, okay, this happened. There's not much that I can do about it, or I have to figure out a way to do something about it. And I still have to continue on with my job. And that is what happened to me. I'm from a neighborhood where you have to adapt to the circumstances or or your surroundings in order to be able to just to pretty much make it through. And I was already used to seeing different things happening, having to take that, having to suck it up and having to keep on going. So when this happened, the way and how it happened, it wasn't your typical way. There wasn't a physical attack like how you see on TV. It wasn't like that. It was words. And when those words make you freeze in fear, by the time it's over, you're literally thinking, okay, what just happened? And trying to figure out, what am I supposed to do from this point? And to answer your question, I went in 93, and my first contract was not due to be over for 4 years. However, it was cut short in 95 because of the situation that had happened the second time. And this time it was a little bit more forceful, and it caused me to have to make a decision where I can't stay here.
Oh, that's great to have a voice and to do whatever your heart's saying to do.
That's right.
Because as soon as you start a job, it's, oh, that's the one I really wanted.
Right.
And then sometimes you feel that the pressure is too much, you cannot handle it, and
Mhm.
it's better you have, even if it's difficult, to start a new one, but it really worth it. Because
Absolutely.
I've done for myself, I've done so many job transition. This is not end of the world. And then you've been so young when
Yeah.
you've been only 21-year old. So what did you do after that?
So afterwards, pretty much was kind of lost because I had my path was laid out. I am one of those that I always have a plan A, B, C, and D in place. It's called survival of the fittest. And that's how I survived. I always had to have something in place. And when those options were snatched from me, I was walking around clueless, like I don't know what to do. I had planned on so many years doing this particular thing, and all of the countries that I was going to visit and all of the opportunities that was going to be afforded to my son, all of that completely vanished into thin air. And so here I am walking around with this question mark, not only of what to do, but not understanding that there was something that was underlying that was happening to me physically as well as mentally and emotionally, that at that time did not have a name. There was no name, there was no recognition, and it was a matter of, I see it, I see something is going on, something is not right. However, I don't know what it is. And so it took many years until I was able to come up with the diagnosis of PTSD, which is post traumatic stress disorder, because of the trauma and the way and how it happened and everything that happened afterwards. It kind of compounded.
Yeah, interesting. That's exactly what happened to me. Like PTSD, you don't know you
Mm-mm.
have it.
That's right.
You may even hide it from others,
Yes, you do.
and you're gonna, oh, I can do this, I
Yes.
can recover from it.
Right.
But deep down, there is something there that should be processed. To me,
Absolutely.
PTSD is kind of hidden in you. It's
It
not going
is.
to show up every time, every
Nope.
day. But there are some triggers that you
Hmm.
have to confront. And as soon as those triggers come, you don't know what to do with them.
Oh my gosh. Talk
Again,
about
same
it.
thing happens, and then again you repeat the same cycle.
Right.
Other Unless you sit there, think with yourself and see what I'm going to do. Should I
That's right.
reframe my brain? Should I talk to a consultant? In very
Hmm.
severe case, you may need to see someone to help you. And
Absolutely.
actually, it's better to find someone to help you, even if you think that you can do it, because
Right.
it takes more time to
It does.
recover.
It
So,
does.
did you get help?
I did, but it took me some time to do it, and I will tell you why. So, as a veteran, most places have what's called the VA Center, the Veteran Affairs Centers, where you can go to get some type of medical treatment, whether it's for medical, whether it's for psychological, whatever it is, because as a soldier, there are a lot of things that we are exposed to, that just because we appear normal on the outside does not mean that we don't have things going on the inside. And there was a lot that I had seen outside of it. I was in combat. I was involved in combat. So, there were some things that had stemmed from that I had to keep to myself, because it's not something that you can just talk about to civilians. And so, again, pushing that in the back of your mind to not have to deal with it because you already have life as it is. So eventually, I actually self-diagnosed myself. I was taking a psychology class. I was going for my bachelor's degree in business administration and management. And part of my rigor was to take this class in psychology. And that is how I figured out exactly what it was. So in between that time, I'm going to this VA center, and they were not forthcoming with giving me the assistance that I needed, because I had ended my contract earlier than the proposed time. And so even though I had an honorable discharge, that was not even the case. The issue is that in their system, it looked as if I didn't complete, and they didn't receive the information that they needed. So therefore, they didn't extend the help to me. I'm like, I need help. I don't know what I need. I just know that I need help. And they would turn me away. They were turning me
Wow.
away. So
Wow.
it is by the grace of God that I was able to hold on for years afterwards, knowing that there was something that was going on, and just continued to seek for the truth. And when I finally came across it, that is the day, Pontia, that everything turned around for me. That is the
Wow.
day. Mm-hmm.
So what happened that day?
Thank you for asking. Okay, so me being a resilient, persistent, determined person that I am, I literally was advocating for myself from the moment that I got out, which was in 96, 97, up until 2013. I had sent in claim after claim. I had sent in different briefings talking about, just trying to bring awareness to things that was going on. And it kept being denied. It was being overlooked. Nothing was being done about it. So there was this one office, because I am a researcher to my heart. Like, my friends call me Encyclopedia Brown, because I can find out almost anything. And I had found this office that was helping veterans to submit claims and to answer any questions that they had. So they were used to my face. They were so used to my face. So I remember standing in line to submit yet another packet. I had just received this packet denial in the mail. At this time, email was not really a common thing. They wanted you to send in papers because they wanted to have original signatures, the whole kit and caboodle. And I was standing in line, and I just was silently praying, saying, Lord, I am so tired of this. All I want is for them to do me right and to treat me right. Like, just make good on your wrong. And I was looking to the left as I was standing in line. There were people in front of me. And it was almost as if this poster illuminated on the wall. It was like not even a foot away from me. And the poster was very big. It wasn't your typical 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. It was a huge poster that said, if you or anyone that you know dealt with, and it had MST, and of course it spelled it out, the acronym military sexual trauma, does not matter how many years ago it happened. We want to hear from you, and we want to help you. I promise you, it sounded like the angels started singing at that time. I
Wow.
could not
Wow.
believe it. So when I saw this, I was staring in disbelief. My mouth was wide open, and I said, let me feel this to see if I'm making this up. Like, I didn't even know there's a title. The military is huge for acronyms. When I saw it, I said, oh my God. So finally, it was my time to come up. So this packet that I had, I wrote a dissertation. I was letting them have it as to why you need to help me and how you're going to help me. And I'm not letting go until you do. I said, before I give you this poster right here, I said, is this for men and for women? And it says, there's no time. There's not a statute of limitation of the time. And she said, no. And I said, okay, what do I need to do in order to go for this? Because it was offering therapy, and it had a support groups, and it was talking about compensation and all of these different things just wrapped on this poster. And I said, so what do I need to do? She said, just write a small paragraph about what happened, about the time frame, and submit it. I said, so when you say paragraph, you mean like 5 or 6 sentences? Because I'm looking at my thick packet of every word that I could think of in the dictionary. And she said, just do this one paragraph. Tantia, I gave her that one paragraph, and I'll never forget the date. As a matter of fact, that date is time stamped in my mind. It was September 29th of 2013 is when my life literally shifted and it turned completely around. I'll never forget it.
Wow. Wow.
Hmm.
You see, that's that's a great inspiration
Yeah.
because people really afraid to get help.
Yes.
And I think PTSD, especially MST, is
Hmm.
one of those things need lots of help.
Absolutely.
And we are not perfect.
No.
We all human, but
Hmm.
everybody needs support in some points of the life.
That's right.
Yes. And so you got help, and what happened next?
So afterwards, I wanted to make sure that I was good first, because although I knew of other people that had dealt with it, that I was coming across, that I was either I used to be stationed with, or that we would share same similar stories wherever in passing. I said, but until I can't be an inspiration or help anyone else until I help myself. So I just allowed what I needed, and I went for everything. I went for the support groups. I made sure that I was on time for my appointments. I didn't miss any of my appointments. I allowed myself to go back through what happened, because it had become I guess kind of lost. I had pushed it out. I blocked it out. And it was starting to affect my memory, and it was starting to affect my way of life, and everything that involved me. It was affecting that. And I was tired of that happening. And I said, the only person that can make this change is me. And so I began to, I guess, deflower in a way, where I was becoming new again. I was starting to feel again. I was beginning to see that there was a future. It wasn't gloomy. I wasn't depressed. I wasn't down. I was able to be the mother to my children. I was able to be a friend to those that kept reaching out to me, but I kept pushing them away because they didn't understand what I was going through. And I felt like I was the party pooper, and I don't want you to experience what I'm going through, so let me stay away. I alienated myself. And so I began to start coming back around again, and starting to do things that really honestly brought me joy and made me smile. And upon doing that, I began to become who I already was, but she was tucked away. It was almost like I kind of stuffed her in a closet and said, you stay in here until I give you permission to come out.
Yes, I love it. You know, it's very strong, very, it's like a leader,
Yeah.
really. And
You
that's
have
what
no
you do
choice.
right now. Because you are the one to be able to heal yourself.
Yes,
Nobody can heal you if you don't want to.
that's right.
This is the problem people have. They just go to medication or try to do like fast track healing. That is not
Yeah,
going to happen
that's
because
right.
something is rooted in you and
Yes.
should be healed within. And you have
Hmm.
to help yourself and really wish to be healed.
Hmm.
Support group, I really believe in it because
Yeah.
connecting to other people with the same situation really helps you
Hmm.
because they have the same habits of triggering with
Yeah.
the problems.
Hmm.
And then when you see that they are progressing, you get inspired, right?
Yes, you do.
So you can help each other. that's
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 right.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are you doing right now? Like I see your title, author, leadership mentor, inspirational speaker. It's great. Yeah, what
Yes.
are you doing exactly?
So right now, I am working on building my business in transportation. I am into transportation and logistics. I recently relocated to Houston, one of the major cities in the United States, especially huge in transportation and construction and just all things that deal with that world. And I decided to take a chance on myself. I wanted to give myself a fresh start. And that is what I chose to do. So, as you're talking about making those choices, I made the choice. Nobody else made that for me. I said, if I don't do this, it's never going to get done. And upon arriving here, I had this book in my system for a while, and I was afraid to talk about it. I was ashamed. I was embarrassed. Every time that I thought about it, it kind of became like a nightmare, even though I knew that it was real. And I felt like I didn't want anybody to know. I felt like people were going to judge me or call me names based upon this situation that I had no control over it. I had no control. And so, but I felt the urge to share. And I would come across people every now and again, mostly women, and I would share my testimony with them, in which, most of the time they ended up crying and saying, "Thank you so much." And I inspired them. You have to talk to somebody. It's not your fault. You had no control. It's only, but so, yeah, they teach us combat moves, but you can only use so much when you're dealing with somebody that's about 10 times stronger than you. I mean,
What can you
how do
do?
you, exactly, how do you deal with that? And
Yes.
so I decided, oh, I'm going to fight back. I've always been a fighter. I'm going to fight back. How am I going to fight back? I don't have to do it physically. I'm going to inspire others. I am going to share my testimony with others. I am going to spread awareness, and I am going to let people know this is how you do it. This is what you do. This is where you go. And this is what you can expect. That's my way of fighting back. And to finish it off, I am going to put this thing in a book. I'm going to walk in my truth, and I'm going to let the world know, whoever wants to read it, this is what it is. No, America is not perfect, and no, our armed forces is not. And yes, we have the great defense, but we're so great with defending our country against our enemies. But how do you defend yourself against the enemy from within? I'll show you
Beautiful.
how. You fight back. That's just it. Fight like a girl.
Fight back and don't stand uh, somebody else dominate on
That's
you
it. That's it.
and force whatever they say
Yeah,
on you. You
that's
don't
right.
need to stay there, and you don't need to afraid of starting something new.
That's it.
That's it. I mean, life, I started over so many times.
Oh gosh, me too.
Yeah.
You're not by
And
yourself.
then that's the problem with some people, that they think that that's going to be the end of the world if
Yeah.
one point of life they have to
Hmm.
move on.
Right.
Trauma is not only for military, it's got to be
Yeah. Oh
for,
my
you may
gosh.
get divorced, separated,
Hmm.
you have to move on in your life,
Talk
especially
about
when you
it.
have kids.
Yes.
You have to protect somebody else
Hmm.
who is more vulnerable and
Right.
need your support.
Absolutely.
So, how many kids do you have right now? Two?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
So I have six children.
Ooh,
Yes.
good.
My oldest is 28, and I have a 24-year-old. I have a
Wow,
22-year-old, and
that's
then I have a
blessed.
17, and I have 11, and then I have 10, and I'm done.
You look very young. I
Thank
never thought
you.
you have 20-year-old baby.
Right.
That's perfect. Great.
Yeah.
And they should proud of you to have such a mom, like a fighter,
Hmm.
somebody who um, talk and have a voice and
That's
want to
right.
share her story with others to inspire them
Yeah.
and help others. That's the point. Like, when you are in some position that you can help others with
Hmm.
those days that you've been there and you've gone through it, like, that's why I am certified PTSD, because PTSD coach, because I wanted to help
That's it.
people. Can use these shortcuts,
Hmm.
go and use the support group, as you say, they
Right.
are really helpful.
Yeah.
Find the one which
Hmm.
really fits for you,
Hmm.
and then have somebody to take care of you. You don't need to be isolated.
That's right.
Isolation is the
Don't do it
worst
alone.
thing in PTSD,
It
isn't it?
is. Oh my
Because
gosh.
you go deep and deeper in
Oh
depression,
my Lord.
you
Yes.
do a lot of overthinking,
Yes.
and then sometimes you're going to suicide,
Oh my
and
gosh.
that's the worst part of
That's
it.
the worst.
So
Yeah.
that's why you have to connect. You have to
Hmm.
connect with those who are struggling, but
Hmm.
who already struggled and now overcame,
That's right.
because that give you a lot of courage and bravery.
Hmm.
Just move on. And
Yes.
life is beautiful, isn't
It
it?
is.
Life
It
is
really
so
is.
beautiful. After passing those traumas, you can see that life can show you much better ways, like having
So
more
much more.
children or
Yeah.
enjoying time, spending time with them,
Right.
lots of things can happen to you.
Mhm.
Yeah. What is your recommendation for somebody who is just diagnosed with MST? I mean,
Wow.
or self-diagnosed.
Right, right. Self or someone has. So I say the first thing that I would want them to know, one, you're not by yourself. Two, it's not your fault. I think the moment that they receive that, if they can believe that, because we often think, what did I do to make this happen to me? It must have been something that I did. You if you have a certain look about you as a woman, you kind of feel like, I can't help that I look this way. Did this cause this to happen? Or I mean, you don't have to be, a beautiful woman for something like that to happen to you, but you have to find some type of justification because it helps to give you an answer. When you're walking around without answers, you have to start formulating an answer. And so when you, again, like you said, you're overthinking, trying to figure out, why did this happen? You spend so much time on the why that you don't
Exactly.
start thinking about, what do I need to do to fix this? So that's the first step, accepting the fact that it happened, receive it. Now think about, what are you going to do about it? Then the next thing is, I need to find help. We live in a world of modern technology. There's nothing that you cannot Google and you will not be able to find it. You have to find and seek help. Don't be afraid of looking for the help. And you may have to keep it to yourself. Unfortunately, we do live in a society where it's not just amongst the Black culture, but a lot of people do not want to discuss getting mental help. And as I was stating with you earlier, everybody has experienced some type of trauma in life, whether,
Yes.
like you said, a divorce, or what if we saw a really bad, horrific car accident and you can't get those images out of your mind, or you experience some type of violence that either happened to you or you witnessed it. It can come in any form. It's not just because you hear PTSD, it's not a military term, it is a human term. And so because of that, those images or the replays of things that keeps looping in your mind, you need to get it out. You need to talk to someone, and you can't always talk to everyone. So if you find that group, the one that you fit in, it may take one or two. It's all about, how do you feel? What is the vibe that you receive when you step in? Did they welcome you? Do you feel comfortable? Do you feel like you have diarrhea of the mouth that you can just tell them everything that happened to you from the age of 5 on up to then? Or do you feel like, I don't think this is working for me, I'm not going to do it? Whatever it is, it's your show. You are in total control. Take control of your life, take it back by fighting for it. And once you find that group that you can connect with, be present, be there,
Yeah.
advocate for yourself, do whatever you have to do, because at that point, that's when it becomes survival of the fittest. You got to get it for yourself, because nobody can force you. Nobody is going to make you. You have to want it. And when you want it and you make up your mind, run after everything like crazy.
Beautiful. Such a strong talk. And you can see in any point of life, you need to reclaim your own life.
That's it.
This
Reclaim
is
it.
your life. You need to rebuild it. And by the time you are taking a breath,
Mhm.
you can rebuild it again.
Absolutely.
And you just have some positive mind. You want to connect to your God or who, whatever you really believe,
Hmm.
and it really helps. You see, intuition
Hmm.
helps you to find a support group
It does.
and where you go.
Hmm.
And you just have to see to yourself and think that, am I going to be in this situation, or
Right.
I want to be leader, I
Yeah.
want to be a mentor, I want
Yeah.
to rebuild my life.
Right.
That's what happened to you.
Uh-huh.
Thank you so much. So, I don't know what to say. I really love your talk, and I think you really need to write your book.
It's almost done.
Yeah,
It's going to be done
and
by the end of
yeah,
February. I've been kind of, sometimes though, Pontia, it's like when you think that you're over a moment and you have to revisit. I've been in this past month and a half, I was going through another part of a healing process, so to speak, in which I had to allow myself to feel, and I had to allow all of what was compacted to just come to the surface. I had to surrender to it. And ever since I did that, it has been helping me, the real me. Remember the one that I told you about a few minutes
yeah,
ago? I put her in the closet. Oh, she's like, okay, I'm here. I'm out now. I need this other one in front. That's not the real you. Okay, she just needs to go. I am lioness, hear me roar. So here's where we are. And I'm just letting her do what she has to do. She's taking the lead.
yeah. She's taking a lead. Actually, journaling, yes, journaling help you to process your
It
PTSD.
does.
I
Uh-huh.
use it every day. I write,
Yep.
and since I was like um, child, 8 year old,
Wow.
I have some notebooks, and I always write
Wow.
because it helps you to go deeply in yourself,
It does.
analyze
Hmm.
everything, and you cannot talk deeply with others
No,
what's
you
happening,
can't. No.
especially when you are facing with trauma or
Hmm.
you are having some issues in your life. Believe
Hmm.
me, if there is someone else in your notebook listening to what you're saying, and then you will have your solution
Right.
inside.
Hmm.
You will hear it um, in your heart.
Yeah.
So beautiful, I love it. And this kind of vision that you have, I'm 100% sure you're gonna have much, much, much brighter future in front
Wow.
of you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being here.
Awesome. I'm so happy. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you so much. Okay.